Mysteries to be solved. Hello everyone. Thank you for clicking and letting us join you. My name is JP. I'm a professional mineral exploration geologist, a jade carver, and your host for this video. Now the Wyoming mystery. What are its elements? Historical records show that Wyoming has produced some of the finest nephrite jade in the world. There have been decades of artisanal production, roughly from the 30s to the 60s, declining production after the 70s. And that production supported both local and international markets. This production was mostly from brave souls that went in the desert, and if they had a good day, they brought a stone to bring to market. Yet, the source of these gem-grade jades were never found or documented. Our objective was to bring capital, knowledge, and expertise to identify the sources of these legendary jades. In this video, we want to share with you the where, some of the how, the clues and the science bits that led us to our recent recognition of what we call the sky jades. But to start at the beginning, these historical jades were real. And here are some of the historical ones we had seen that helped us tune our eyes to the target. Now, stones like these are always hard to find on the market today. Most of them are held in private collections and institutions, and when they do come on the market through estate sales or other vendors, they always come at a high price. This checked all the right boxes for us in terms of a mineral exploration opportunity. In addition to the exciting history and the exploration challenges of solving the riddle of the source or sources of this material, as a potentially low-cost producer, Wyoming compares very favorably to other known major nephrite jade producing areas in the world, such as northern Canada and Siberia. Those are high operating cost environments with short operating seasons. In terms of access to equipment, skilled workforce and supplies, excellent existing infrastructure, and long exploration operating seasons, Wyoming tops them all. Now, one of the most common questions I get asked about my work is, what's it like out there? Now, since not everyone has had a chance to see the jade fields, and because we can, why not come along for a ride and we'll take you there. Regardless of the wind, bugs, ticks, and snakes, Wyoming has been great for us. From April 2018 to September 2019, we did document 5 distinct jade-bearing zones as we've just shown. In September 2019, we began a more systematic trenching evaluation of a large ornamental or carving type jade target, which was part of a geological system that we had mapped over about 600 meters at strike length, and which will be the subject of a later video. It was during this fall 2019 program that David came across our most important clue to the nearby presence of sky jades. Even before cleaning the stone, it was obvious that the dozens or hundreds of previous jade hunters combing this area, known for jade since at least 1945, had missed this spectacular slick. Of particular note was its distinctive shape, fine grain, high translucency, a partial white alteration skin, and its bearing of quartz crystals. All these elements were typical of the historical gem jade finds of the area. For our jade lover friends, here is a bit more detail on that. I could do this all day to hear the special musical tones of jade. In my career as a geologist, I've hammered on tens of thousands of rocks all over the world, and there is just nothing else like this. A wonderful find like this one certainly makes for a great day in the field, yet while a single stone can make a sale, it's not sufficient to sustain a market. What could we learn from this specimen to find a source? Published hypotheses and ideas about these slicks in the jade community were many, mostly as an attempt to explain the unusual shape and smooth surfaces, since slicks look like neither blocks of rocks from a cliff or rounded pebbles from a river. The idea often was that millions of years of erosion and transport were necessary to create these smooth shapes. Others have invoked the grinding power of glaciers as being required to shape these smooth slick stones, and I've even heard that they could be jade meteorites fallen from the sky. For us, being either eternal optimists or just stubborn, these theories were unsatisfactory. They all implied that the original sources of these stones were either eroded away and gone, or so far from where the stones were found that it was pointless to look any further. When slicks are found on their own in the middle of a flat, barren area, perhaps those ideas were reasonable. This stone, however, was found halfway up a hillside, surrounded by country rock. No gravels, no glacial material. Its natural, softer white skin, with any significant amount of transport and erosion, would have been stripped away. Under certain conditions, geologists refer to such stones as ventifacts. Ventifacts are surface-exposed stones in desert environments that are carved by the action of wind carrying sand over long periods of time, essentially sanding the stones smooth. We had observed many wind-sculpted rocks and outcrop in our area, indicating that transport was not required for these shapes to occur. In the field, it looks like this.
Right around this bush here.
In our 2019 fall trenching target area, we had not observed any quartz crystals bearing formation, and the jade we were testing were generally of a very different grain than this newly found material. High magnification, around 50 times, was showing us the grain difference between the carving jades and jade from the slick. Mineralogically, a coarser grain means that there is more light interference along individual crystal boundaries when the light enters the stone, which reduces the clarity and translucency of it, both of which are highly desirable traits in gemstones. Understanding key differences, it was with optimism and eyes open, as well as retuned ideas, that David, once again, identified a new quartz zone with thin jade slivers. This zone was sampled for the first time in October of 2019, and rough stones, as is often the case, did not look like much at first. And that is why, to properly evaluate the material, we put windows in. Our summer 2020 sampling program provided us with an additional roughly 50 kilos of fine-grained green jade, often with a white alteration rind. So far, we had convincingly linked the Sky Jades to historical slicks on the basis of color, very fine grain, translucency, the presence of quartz crystals, and rinds. Only one piece of the mystery really remained, which was to test the correlation between the very unusual shapes of the historical slicks and the Sky Jades themselves. We could obviously not turn back the hand of time and observe the surface erosion processes that made slicks what they were. However, we could simulate this erosion process by tumbling a number of smaller stones. This would erode away their softer alteration skins and reveal the true natural shape of the jade itself as formed and found within the sky zone. We also hoped that the tumbling process would allow us to document variability in textures, grain size, and colors that could be expected within the system. 53 individual samples, ranging in weight between a few grams to over 160 grams, were test tumbled. This jade was recovered by hand from 2 sampling sites located approximately 13 meters apart along the Sky Jade bearing structure. Since beauty is always in the eyes of the beholder, let us not rely on simple descriptions of our results. We are proud to introduce to you representative samples of what the Sky Jades actually look like. concept behind this test work has been to understand and document the connection between the newly recognized sky zone and the historical gem jade slicks of Wyoming. Fine Wyoming jades were once highly sought after, both domestically and internationally. Yet, without steady production of materials, markets cannot sustain themselves. Without supply, demand moves on. With a new source on hand for this material, our next step is to see if the historical fame and appreciation of Wyoming jades can be recaptured. In the short term, our work will be to increase awareness of this new find and evaluate potential product market acceptance of this fine material. Wyoming jade is back. We do hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. If so, please do not hesitate to subscribe, share, and like. And until the next time, Jade on.